Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and I had regrets to carry downstairs, which is why I'm a few minutes late, or otherwise known as just in time. So let's see who we have in the chat. We have Thomas Armstrong. Hi, Thomas. We have I83D6SX. Hi, Jesse. We have GeoHam, who guessed correctly. Hi, GeoHam. Thomas Armstrong is in coffee maker mode. All right. We have Mr. Tech Gadget. Hi, Mr. Tech Gadget. We have Socket Wrench. Hi, Socket Wrench. Someone grew up with PBS. And the Bush's Baked Beans commercial. Yes. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Roll that famous logo animation. Yeah. Jesse says, Java the Hutt. Yes. Java, Java the Hutt. That would make a great coffee shop. That would make a great name for one of those parking lot coffee shop concept things. Especially if it looked like a hut. LucasArts might have a problem with it, though. But I don't think people would get Jabba the Hutt and Java the Hutt mixed up. But I'm not a trademark lawyer. But I can tell you what I do have a coffee goal. Link is in the description for capacitors. And I can also tell you that it's time for the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
All right, and the first potential regret comes to us from an eBay seller in Georgia. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Georgia. I'm glad I actually looked at the label, because when I saw the city name, I would have quite possibly said Minnesota or somewhere like that. Because I think... Oh, there it is. I think there's a, Mr. Tech Gadget says, hey, I'm in Georgia. Oh, Jack says, did I misread the start time of the stream? I thought you were starting at 8 Central. Oh, I always put the start time in Eastern. I mean, maybe I made a mistake on the scheduling. Mr. Tech Gadget says, what is it from? Duluth? Yes, it is from Duluth, Georgia. Alright, so let's see here if I can get it open. They put lots of packing tape. Alright, let's see here. I don't... Oh, okay. So they sent the... Oh, yeah. They sent it on cardinal paper. Also, apparently the seller doesn't know how you create an actual eBay invoice, but that's fine. And I don't know why I bought this, but Gupom would know. But I picked up a Mad Dog multimedia sound card. Jesse says, so it's not heavy-duty clothing. No. So, this is the other sound card that I think Mad Dog made. I think they made a total of 2. This is the 2-channel sound card. And I don't know why, other than it was $4. Oh, and it is an ESS Solo 1 based card, assuming that is the actual card that it should be. But looks like we got the sound card, the CD, the installation instructions, a plastic bag that probably had stuff in it. Quick circuit board prototyping system. Something tells me that this did not come with the sound card originally. Yeah, alright. Very interesting box style. Mr. Tech Gadget says, wow, I'm pretty sure I have a memory of that box in an aisle at Micro Center a few decades ago. Because I think Micro Center was one of their authorized retailers. Soccer Wrench says, why must the sound card be edgy? Because they had to compete with all the other boring brands. Okay, yeah, it probably is the sound card it's supposed to be. That is one of the actual product may differ from image below. That is like the most generic sound card photo, and that chip doesn't even have, they've like photoshopped it out. Thomas Armstrong says, we have a ski shop called Mad Dogs. Anyways, there we go. $4 Mad Dog sound card. Jack says, Sound Blaster sounds kind of edgy. Yeah. Alright. So there we go. The $4 Mad Dog sound card. You might kind of have this idea that I might be working on a Mad Dog build or something. Alright. The next item comes to us from an eBay seller in Pennsylvania. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Pennsylvania. I always like it when the box comes pre-moistened. I mean, it was raining today, so I'm hoping that's just maybe moisture and not like some chemical that spilled. Joe says moist is an awful word. Hi, Joe. Joe says, I'm in 2 places at once. Alright, and this is hopefully not a moist motherboard. Oh, wait a minute. Alright, so I'll let the, it comes with extra capacitor ooze. Alright, well, we will just open this up, and I had kind of been looking for one of these boards and kind of not been looking for one of these boards. And this one showed up. And it kind of helped that it had memory on it. It also helped that it looked like the battery hadn't done too much damage. But we have a Micronix chipset. Hi, Callan. Welcome. Mr. Tech Gadget says, I think I am excited. I got an external Apple 5.25-inch drive for $31 shipped tonight. So this is one of those motherboards with the chipset that has 8 whole kilobytes of cache built into the chipset. So, yeah. And it's got a AMD 386 DX40 processor on it. So very, very nice indeed. And that is quite the interesting BIOS label. And if it weren't for the fact that there's an AMI BIOS sticker on top of it, I would have thought that someone had programmed a new BIOS chip for it. But anyways, there is one thing we do need to do immediately. What is to all right, get that leg of the battery off, and then let me see if I can get in under here and get the other one, and we'll deal with cleaning up the stabby bits left in the board later. All right. There we go. One battery disarmed. And it is a... Oh, it's a KTS brand. Thomas Armstrong says, save that NiCad. Well, I don't know what I would want with an old NiCad battery that has done a little bit of corrosion damage, but not bad at all. I think we'll, oh. All right. So I am just going to take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I realize some people would use vinegar to neutralize the battery leakage, but there's really not... I don't know that there's really any battery leakage to speak of here. Anyways, I'm fairly sure the isopropyl alcohol will do what I'm intending it to do, and that is just to basically wipe it all off the board. Looks like there is a spot right under the battery, but I think the traces are spared. And for anyone curious, I do not believe this is a PC chip's motherboard. Despite the fact that it looks exactly like something PC chips might have made, this board is actually, I think, just a slight bit better. I don't remember what brand it is right offhand. I looked it up. I don't think it was PC chips. Or as I like to call them, PC cheaps. Anyways, there we go. Just a little bit of cleaning. In fact, oh, spray some contact cleaner there. And there we go. So now the board is safe to set aside. And I don't think there'll be much repair needed there. It does look like maybe a little bit of something leaked under the battery there, but that's, yeah, that's just a ground plane. So I think we're good. Texas vintage used, yes. Also, I have a feeling that's only like 4 megabytes of RAM. Probably not. Of course, it could. Yeah, I think those are 1 megabyte sims. So did not hit the jackpot of free memory. Anyways, anyone? Oh, I guess maybe I should do that. So if anyone wants to look the board up on the retro web, some Micronics 83C305 and 306. There's our AMD 386DX40, and I think has 5 16-bit slots. There we go. Hi, Mike's Future Retro. Welcome. Mike says, ahoy, fellow pirates. All right, and I think our last entry for Wheel of Regrets I will haul it on the bench momentarily. However, I wanted to take this opportunity to update you all on a previous Wheel of Regrets item. You might or might not recognize the card because I recapped it. So, as the reminder, there's that was not one of the explodey caps that was on it. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I might have lost the fourth one. They're on my bench because I need to remember to bring a trash can liner down. Anyways, there were 4 caps. Apparently, I've dropped one somewhere. So I recapped the whole board, which is why there's some very nice looking polymer caps there now. Yeah, don't confuse the explodey caps with new ones. So there we go. You also probably don't recognize it because I removed the heatsink because I was trying to figure out if the chip was getting hot or not. So there's the EVGA heatsink of quality that's missing the screws. And anyways, the card is still dead. So nothing is heating up on it. So yeah, the card is dead. I have a feeling those caps exploded because of an overvoltage, and there's probably not much I can do for this card. But anyways, thought I would give you the update. So it's a total regret. However, the Trident card that came along with it just needed its edge contacts cleaned, and it seems to work just fine. Although it's missing the bracket, but yeah. This card appears to be dead. I don't think there's anything I can do for it. Not really that great of a card anyways, so I will probably save it for... Jack says Cloudflare DNS is back. Thomas says someone pulled it out with the computer on. I don't know. Anyways, I will probably save it because those polymer caps are brand new. So it's a parts board. Anyways, it's going in my parts pile because there's really not much I can do with it. All right, so now that I gave you that short update on Wheel of Regrets items, this next item comes to us from an eBay seller in... going to have to find the label. I certainly hope this is not what the outside of it says. Oh, there's the shipping label. Connecticut. Well, there's a state I don't often get items from. So, hi to all my viewers and eBay sellers in the state of Connecticut. And I sure hope this is not a Dell Inspiron, because that would be a regret to buy the world's most ubiquitous, boring office computer on eBay. I'm also hoping this was packed well. I will let you all can guess what this is or why I bought it. I know someone's going to put in the chat, oh, you're just trying to throw us off. It really is a Dell Inspiron, because you're going to do a funny video and make fun of Action Retro, and you're going to call it like In Action Modern or something. Jesse says, in quotes, home office computer at best. Yeah. Calvin says regret by default. All right. And you know it's going to be quality when they pack it in shredded paper. Oh, it looks like... Oh, yeah. I think I see a kid's homework, an eBay shipping label, an invoice, and a greeting card, just kind of off the bat here. Uh-oh. Please. Thomas Armstrong says, fireplace starter. I meant to start the stream at 8 o'clock tonight. It would be par for the course that I accidentally set the wrong starting time on the stream. But yeah, I meant to start at 8. If I set the starting time at 9, well, oops. Of course, yeah, I can't tell what time I scheduled it for now that I've started. Anyways. Oh, okay, GeoHam says it was 8. Yeah, Monday streams generally start at 8. The Thursday streams start at 9. And sometimes there's a Tuesday stream when I accidentally pick the wrong night of the week and I'm feeling generous. Oh, Jack says the start time on YouTube said 8 p.m. for me, but that would be 7 Central. It was always 8 on YouTube. Oh. Well, I can't say that YouTube maybe didn't show some people the wrong start time, because I think it's done that to me for some streams. Alright, so I am going to put this paper... there. You know, I was actually trying to open this right side up, and it would appear as if the computer is upside down. And I am hoping, and not hoping, that... Oh, there they are. Yeah, let's just ship the computer laying on the... I don't think that's the keyboard that was in the pictures. I'm going to have to go look at the auction photos now. That does not look like the same keyboard. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. All right. We'll start with the keyboard and mouse. We have an Apple Keyboard 2. Oh, maybe this is the same keyboard. Maybe I'm just forgetting what the auction photo had in it. Let's see here. Purchase history. Yes, I want to see the original listing. Oh no! That is not the same keyboard. Ah! Alright, I am going to have to, I'm glad I'm opening this live. Yeah, I don't know if the seller intentionally did a bait and switch, but that is not the keyboard that's in the auction photos. I don't think that's the mouse that's in the auction photo either. So anyways, here is the auction photo. There is the keyboard that is sitting on the computer. Jack says, "Oh, that's not a 2GS keyboard in the auction photo." No, it should be a Mac. That's a Macintosh SE keyboard in the auction photo, I believe. Anyways, that's what was in the auction photo. And that's what I got. That is not the same keyboard. Go to the other keyboard pick. All right. There's that keyboard. There's the keyboard again. That's the same keyboard. There's the keyboard pick. Note the caps lock key in the corner. And the raised reset button, or power button. You better believe I'm going to compare serial numbers. Jack says, right, it's an SE style keyboard. I love those. Cutbomb says, that is definitely the wrong keyboard. Yes, it is the wrong keyboard. And I'm going to send a message to the seller and let them know they sent the wrong keyboard. I'm hoping it was an innocent mistake. Because I could totally see them realizing that. All right, more actions. Contact seller. eBay's going to make me sign in, of course. All right, contact seller. Take a photo. Take photo. Send, let's see here. So I took a photo. The keyboard I received does not match the one in the auction photos. And then I got to correct autocorrect because autocorrect is ridiculous. The keyboard I received does not match the one in the auction photos. I would like the keyboard that that was pictured. Thanks. All right, there we go. Short, sweet, and to the point. In fact, I'm not sure that's the same mouse that's in the photos, but it's kind of harder to tell. And well, actually, no, it does look like that is the standard square. Oh, I'm not even sharing. Oh, and you can't see it because, well, my head's in the way there. So yeah, I don't think they even sent the right mouse, but all right. Anyways, let's take a look at the computer. And you better believe I'm going to check the serial number on the back of it. Yeah, I bought this because of the keyboard. And if the seller... Hi, Rudy, welcome. Because actually, I didn't really need a Performa 600. In fact, I probably would have, if this had just been a Performa 600 with any other keyboard, I would have just moved on. Does the keyboard in the background match the one I received? No, the keyboard in the background is like a PC keyboard or something. Oh, yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it. I'll add on to my message I sent them. All right, purchase history. Oh, oh, contact seller. All right, done. I sent them the extra photo. Yeah, Jack says no one needs a Performa anything. Thomas says everyone needs a Performa 600. All right. Okay, so far I don't hear anything rattling around. Rudy says I'd like to get a 575 to put in my Color Classic. Geo's Ham's asking, does the seller have a lot of listings? That's a good question. I'll go look at their listings. Hopefully they don't have that keyboard listed, because that would be sad. Seller's other items. An FSP group power supply. Ooh, a Macintosh portable rechargeable battery. I bet that charges. A Nest thermostat. Yeah, they've got a few listings. They do not. Okay, I don't see a listing for that keyboard. Yeah, they have 41 listings. So, yeah, we're going to open this up in a moment. I'm curious now, looking at their completed listings to see if... oh, the screw is still in here. That's interesting. Despite the fact that someone's been in here, the screw is installed. I mean, I would be crazy enough to put the screw back for me having one machine, but that is usually the first thing that gets lost if you have to open it any number of times. All right, I'm trying to find the... What did I do with... Oh, here we go. There should be a screwdriver in here that'll work. Here we go. All right. Hardware, a high hardware hacker. No, this is a Performa 600 that I bought for the keyboard, and the seller did not send the keyboard that was pictured. So I'm kind of disappointed. Yeah, it was pictured with an SE keyboard, and they sent that keyboard, which does not match the pictures. So I have already sent them a message, and hopefully they will send me the keyboard that was pictured, and not try to convince me that this keyboard's better. All right, so we have... So, yeah, I bought it because it was pictured with an SE keyboard, and the winning bid on it was $56 plus, like, $16 shipping. And I took the gamble that the machine was in good shape internally because I didn't see any rust. And sure enough, there's our Saft battery, and it has not leaked. Oh yeah, and it's got a 1992 date code, so... Hi Bruce, welcome! So, this is definitely going to need recapped. I am sure of it. Although it actually doesn't look too bad inside. Ooh. Well, that's a nice bonus. It's got the math coprocessor installed. It has... Oh, of course it's got video RAM. Because I... Oh yeah, it looks like there's two VRAM sims, which I think are required if I remember, because I don't think it's got onboard memory. And it's got some memory in the sim sockets. Ooh, it's a PNY upgrade. Oh, these might actually be 4 megabyte sims. Maybe. 514100A. It's the 4. Nice. Yeah, GeoHam sync. Seller's response. A keyboard's a keyboard. Forget about it. We'll see what the seller says. I was scrolling through their sold listings, and I don't see a listing for an Apple keyboard, so... Oh, interesting. So apparently they tried to sell this Performa in the beginning of July, or... Oh, no, they tried to sell it. An auction ended July 1st. They tried to sell it with a buy it now at $99, or auction bids start at $69. And then they relisted it, I think, with the starting bid of like $49. Oh, they sold an Apple keyboard too, but that's not the one that was pictured with the Performa. Yeah, okay. There is a good chance they Oh yeah, they tried to sell this Performa a couple times. And yeah, I bought it totally for the keyboard. I will. I Oh yeah, actually back in May they had a Macintosh SE listed without a keyboard. Okay, it doesn't look like they had a keyboard with it, although. And I know where the keyboard that was pictured with this Performa came with. It came with that SE probably. All right, so you all are looking at a hyper zoomed image of this Performa 600. I know this is like the computer that everybody was just. It was the must have computer of the 90s. In fact, this was possibly the prize in several game shows. I'm sure Apple probably furnished these computers as prizes because they would have been sold in the department stores. So, of course, you want to have the prize be something that people would see in the department stores and ask about. It's like, hey, we were watching that game show and they gave away one of these computers. Maybe we should take a look at it. Also, fun fact: I was watching an episode of the $100,000 Pyramid, and so one of the contestants won a home computer, and of course, it annoyed me that after they won it, they didn't describe what computer it was. But apparently, the computer was described at the end of the show, and I was watching it, and yeah, they won an Apple 11C. That's exactly how the announcer announced it. The Apple 11C. Jack says, I love the 11C. What a great machine. Rudy's like, 11C laughing. Yeah. Something tells me that there's probably a good chance that later episodes they correct their mistake. All right. So we're going to give this a try. 3, 2, 1. And we have a chime. Oh, I may have to check the settings of the video adapter. Yeah, I know you all probably couldn't hear it because it was a very faint chime, but. Hmm. Well, all right, let's do this. We'll get to the Atari probably very shortly. All right, I am going to. I'm trying to get some alcohol out of my bottle here because I want to scrub the part of the logic board. The egret chip is looking a bit crusty. Remember to brush your egret chip. All right. Let's try this again. Oh. All right. Okay. Probably needs recapped. Yeah, don't have any cap kits on hand for a Performance 600 and Yep. Oh, hi, Garth. Welcome. Yeah, it's a Performance 600 that I bought for the keyboard. And then the seller included the wrong keyboard. Thomas Armstrong says the Atari can beep like a Mac if you want. Oh, thank you, hardware hacker. What do we have for him, Johnny? Well, Jimmy, we have a brand new Macintosh Performa 6290 CD. Woo! Garth says, oh no, wrong keyboard when bought for keyboard is all wrong. Yes, I made sure the seller knew that I bought it for the pictured keyboard. So hopefully they'll realize that they made a big mistake. All right, well, they have not replied to my message yet, so we will, Garth says, let me know if the seller calls you a donut. Rudy says, oh, no, he gets the 11C. Yeah. Jack says the 11C would be a good clone model name. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the seller to call me a donut. All right, so currently the regret score is I regret buying a Performance 600 for the SE keyboard that was pictured with it to only get an Apple keyboard 11. Yep, hopefully with the recap, this will be back to working order, although I'm not going to order a cap kit until I figure out what the eBay seller's next move is. Yeah, Garth says, those 20 plus watching, please consider hitting that like button. Yes. Jack says, and to a lesser extent, the round mouse is regrettable as well. Hardware Hacker says, I'm waiting for the right time to do my Mac 11 CI upgrade video. Yeah. Let me see if I can, so if you do want to watch later, here we go. share, copy link. So if anyone's curious what in the world I'm talking about, so there's the link to the YouTube video. It's episode 2 of the $100,000 Pyramid, hosted by Dick Clark. And one of the contestants wins a home computer. And so if you go to the very end of the show, the announcer announces the prize as the Apple 11C computer. So, Jack says, introducing Mac 11. Turn your Mac up to 11. So anyways, yeah, that's the... Oh, no, they sent me a Apple design mouse. It was supposed to be one of the boxy ones. That's what they sent me. However, the mouse was pictured in the extreme edge of the photo, so Gutbum says, I call that the egg mouse. Harder Hacker, how very Spinal Tap of them. Mike's Future Retro says, I want an Apple 12C. All right, so we will hopefully have an update from the eBay sellers sooner rather than later. And assuming they're not going to make me return the whole computer because they sent their own keyboard. Callan says, yeah. Yeah. Garth says, I see a floppy drive that needs servicing. Yes. Hey, at least I don't have to recap the CD-ROM drive. Because there is none. Rudy says, Apple 11C, the future. Before the Mac C30. Yeah. Earth says, these 600, 650 cases stack so well. Yeah. Yes. It will stack so nicely. I will, yeah, so what am I going to do with it? I'll recap it and then probably, well, assuming they don't make me return it because they sent the wrong keyboard, because that could be their prerogative. However, I doubt they'll make me return the computer because that would be very expensive. I mean, they could, though. That's their prerogative if they think I'm... Bruce says, return it, recap. Anyways, no, we're going to recap the Atari 1040ST. I don't have a cap kit for this computer, so I can't. I mean, I might be able to dig up the caps for it. I probably have some, but no, we're going to recap the Atari ST. This was the Wheel of Regrets, so we've now gone through the Wheel of Regrets for tonight. Bruce says, no, I vote for the 600. Oh. Rudy says, recap it with Rifas. The ST or the PSU? Possibly both, Thomas. I have caps for all. Jack says, oh, this is going to be an Atari stream now. I'm out. 1-bit. Oh, hi, 1-bit. Are you keeping up with the Atari? Yeah, this power supply probably needs recap, too. That is for sure. You're funny, Jack. All right, so let me go grab the Atari, and you'll see why it needs recapped more than this one does. Oh, wait, this one probably needs recapped just as bad. You know what I mean. There we go. I have a piece of bubble wrap on the floor under my chair. How fun. All right. So, we're going to start with the power supply that's in the Atari 1040ST. Although at the moment it is not in the Atari 1040ST, it is out. So, what do we have here for... All right. Good night. Good night, Rudy. We'll see you later. Yeah, looks like someone's Mauser order arrived. Yes. So, here's the power supply of shame. It's the power supply of shame because there's actually still wet electrolyte on it from where I tried to power it up the other day. And I have a cap kit from Console 5. Yeah, I detached the diodes so that I could test them because I wasn't able to test them in circuit. So yeah, the diodes are loose. I will reattach them while I'm in here with the soldering iron. So I have a cap kit. I have fuses because I blew the fuse. So I have fast and medium fuses. Harder Hacker says, I only order from console 11C. Yeah. I also ordered a few parts that I wasn't sure if I would need or not. So I got a 3.3 kilo ohm resistor because I think oh yeah, there's I think this resistor here, the leg looks pretty gnarly. So I think that's what these resistors are for. I just didn't know what power rating that resistor might be. So I did order some resistors just in case. I ordered an SCR in case the SCR on this board has failed. The SCR is used for the crowbar circuit. So if the voltages are, or if there's a if the voltages are out of spec, then the SCR will basically short circuit the power supply so that it goes into shut off mode. I think I ordered 3 different. Oh yeah, I think I ordered 3 different SCRs. Because there were letters at the end of the part number, I wasn't sure which one might be correct. These are also just in case parts if I recap it and the power supply doesn't want to work. I think there was an NPN transistor that I thought might need replaced. So I got that. And then because I usually like to I usually like to up the rating of the main filter caps. So I ordered some higher voltage rated caps for the main power caps. So I'm going to use these instead of what Console 5 provided. I usually do that when I recap power supplies that are 230 volt capable, just to give a little extra headroom. Yeah, Atari used so many power supplies, it's not even funny. In fact, my mega file has a power supply that Console 5 doesn't have cap kits for, so... So I ordered... David's asking, so I guess this power supply blew up. Yeah, it did. It did. It went blah when I powered it up. In fact, there's where one or more of the caps spilled its guts. All right. So, one thing I'm going to do is I have put a red stripe on the original capacitors, not that I'm likely going to miss them. Thomas Armstrong says, cheap salmon, yeah. We'll clean that cap juice up as I get the caps out. And then I have... Well, I got the green paint marker somewhere, but there we go. So we are going to start... All right. So I'm going to start with, I think, these 4 caps here, so that I can get them out and then put these diodes back in. All right. So here's that one. That is a 16 volt. That was a microfarad. All right. And C13. And then... All right. And then we've got the 25 volt one is here at C12. So it's 25 volt one's here. And then these three are, the other three are 16 volts. At least that's the original spec. So I just made a little note on the board so I would remember. And this is it. Yep, there we go. All right, so there we go. We got those 4 caps out. David says some people use a glue gun. I use a moo gun. Yeah. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I put a power supply in a power supply PCB and isopropyl alcohol yesterday during Dave's stream to try to loosen up some hot snot that they used at the factory. And I get down to the basement and see my container. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did forget to pull that out yesterday and try to loosen the glue. So if we get done with the Atari at the end of the stream, I may need to see if the hot snot has loosened. But I just want to get these diodes back in. All right. Let's go ahead and get these back in, and then we'll deal with the capacitors. Ooh. All right. Well, that did not flow well at all. All right. Hi, Francois. Francois says, currently sorting out 20 years of stickers. All right. Well, that's going to be fun. All right. So So now that I got the diodes in so that they don't fall out, we'll get these replacement caps in. But first, let's... Oh, no, we're not going to use that one. Let's use this one. All right, so it's the 25-volt cap is about 10% low, so that's within spec. Soldering those diodes in has given me the wonderful stench of fish. That one's actually 20%, like just at 20% out of spec. So that one probably good it's being replaced. Ooh, that one's below 20%. I don't think these caps are these ones aren't leaking, I don't think, but they are. So yeah. Two of these are out of spec low. One of them is like at spec and one was 10% low. So they also feel very light. Thomas Armstrong says those are odd reading. Yeah. Actually, the thought had crossed my mind that those are marked as 1,000 microfarads, but are maybe a smaller cap or something. All right. I don't think there's any capacitor electrolyte under these caps, but I'm just going to go ahead and all right. There's that. Okay, so we've got, let's see, those are 47 250s. There's the 1025, 1016, 1016. Uh-oh. Huh, my kit is short a cap. All right. Here's the 1025. Alright. I got 2016s. And I need 3. I'll let Luke know at console 5 that I ran across one of these power supplies that either has an extra cap on it, or maybe someone miscounted when they made the kit. It happens occasionally. It's 1,000. So there should have been 3 1,000 microfarad 16 volts, and there were only 2 in the kit. I mean, yeah, look at how much smaller the new caps are. So I'm gonna have to find a cap to put there. All right, so let's get these 2 troublemakers here out. Oh. There's a diode there I need to put back in circuit. All right, there's that. Got that. All right, let's get these 2 caps out. So there's 1. Oh, I don't think those are. Oh, that's one of the legs of the capacitor right there. I think that's the capacitor. There we go. I can tell you this board is not making me want tacos right now. Oh, I think that cap might be loose. So this front one here is a something. And having trouble getting it out of the board. Alright, so that is 330 microfarad, 25 volt. And that is a 120 microfarad, 25 volt. Those are some weird sizes there. Alright. Yeah, this power supply is just so high quality. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so there's that cap there. And this cap here. I haven't heard back from the seller yet, but I so I don't know what they're going to claim yet. But the description said that the keyboard the description did say the keyboard and mouse were included. And it should be assumed that if they picture it with something, then well, that should be what's included. All right. There's those two caps. Now we have the two main filter caps. I believe it's going to be that and that. And that. Yeah, we'll see what they say. I've already sent the seller a message, and we'll see what they. I'm hoping they'll just send the correct keyboard. I would be totally fine with then also sending them the incorrect keyboard. Although they'll have to send me a shipping label. But I bought that Performance 600 because of the keyboard that was with it. All right. There we go. There's that, and there's two. Now these capacitors are not the ones that were in the kit. Since I was ordering caps from Mauser, I ordered some upgraded spec caps. There we go. Very nice. There's the... So now I need to go find a... Alright, so let's test these original caps, and then I'm going to have to find a replacement for the one that was missing in the kit. So this cap is about, should be 47, it's reading 40, so... Alright, well that would still be within spec. Oh! Now, that one's bad. It's below spec. Now, the two leaky caps, which interestingly enough are... Oh, well, they're United Chemicon caps. So I'm going to measure them. Whoops. Yeah, ESR 15 ohms. Its capacitance is reading, I mean, it's just marginal on the capacitance reading. All right, and this must be the one that really misbehaved. Because, yeah, that's probably the one that blew its guts out. Don't you think? Although I think this one here is probably leaking too. Yeah. ESR over 40 ohms, capacitance not measured. basically, I think that's that. It's polite way of telling you that I think it's a resistor, not a capacitor. Thomas Armstrong says one of those two caps is in the startup. Well, it didn't start up when I tried to start it up. Oh, alright. Hold on. This component here is desoldered. Probably because I pulled it off the board to inspect it. Actually, that leg there looks desoldered. Oh, okay, that's the cap I gotta go find. Okay. Alright, let me go. I need to find a 1000 microfarad 16 volt cap. Actually, oh, nope, okay. Hold, please. Well, I gotta see if I can find a cap. It was a 16 volt. So it was a 16 volt on my board. So yeah, if I've got a 25 volt, I'll use it too. Harder Hacker says resistance is futile if less than 1 ohm. Yeah. All right. Let me see what I got. I probably have one. The question is where. Here we go. I found one. I think it might fit. Oh, no, that cap's not going to fit. Okay. Alright, I gotta find another cap. This one's too big. Just dawned on me, I should have checked the cap kits that were sitting on my bench. Let's see, nope. Alright, I'm still looking. I'm going to probably borrow a cap from another cap kit. Here we go. Alright. It is a 16 volt, 1000 microfarad. All right. It's a different brand than the other two, but it'll be fine. Don't know which one this is. I'd have to look at the label that's on the top. It is a Skynet power supply. Yes, that is correct. All right. Let me clean a few of these solder joints up. All right. Yep, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna reflow this. The original solder joint looks a bit crusty, so I'm gonna reflow it. There we go. All right. It is the Skynet. Yeah, there's the part number. Uh, well, it does look like this is the 850 1886A, so maybe the scissor variant. Possibly. That might be why I'm needed an extra cap. I'll email Luke and let him know that I had one of these power supplies and it had a 1,000 microfarad cap. So hopefully that might mean he just may add a note to the page that says you may need to add a third cap. Because if most of them have 2 caps, he's not going to increase the cost of the kit to satisfy a rare variant. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good at doing that. So I'll let him know. So at least maybe he might add a note to the wiki. If not, also add a related product to the cap kit page for an extra cap. I don't think mine even had a 470. Or if it did, I just forgot about it. I had 247s. I'll look at the wiki. Because I had 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 247s, a 330, and a 120. These are all the caps I pulled off, and none of them were 470. I cannot explain the discrepancy. Yeah, I guess there's a variation. I presume. I'll probably have to put this through the ultrasonic cleaner because probably about the only way to get the electrolyte completely off the board. All right, well, that resistor that I was somewhat concerned about looks like its leg cleaned up, so hopefully it's fine. All right. So I do know the fuse is blown. Oh, I can get the fuse out. There we go. There we go. So there, I got the fuse out, and we will confirm. Yep, open fuse. So how about we will use a fast-acting fuse. There we go. One brand new fuse. Go ahead and solder the. So this black wire is the line And the white one is the neutral. There we go. Now, I think, well, it's almost good and dry. I guess we'll like to at least put a screw or two. These aren't the original screws, but we're testing it. These screws will work. I'll go get the actual screws later. There we go. Wait a minute, where did that... Did I not have a screw in my... Oh, please. I think the... Oh, I think there it is. Okay. Oh. Oh, good point. You are right. There is a plastic insulator. All right, let me go... Let me go find it. Does it go that way? Or does it go this way? There we go. I think that's right. Frogman Curious is Cloud9 still got Coco 3 stuff. Sure wish I could do this kind of repairs to anything. I don't know if Cloud9's not ringing any bells. Okay, so we got the power supply here. I'm tempted to oh, I got an idea here. Alright, so first, before I power it up, let's make sure nothing's shorted. Okay, so there's no shorts. Okay, no shorts on the high voltage side. Fuse is good. Alright, low voltage side. Okay. And alright, no shorts on the low voltage side. Now I'm kind of somewhat tempted to power this up outside the Atari. So I have turned this off at the smart outlet. Don't try this at home. Alright, so I'm going to turn this switch on. And then, curious, do you fix stuff for others for money? Someday, I will. Alright, I'm also backing away in case this thing goes pop. Because I'm a chicken. I'm going behind my safety blast shield. Alright. Smoke test in 3, 2, 1. Oh, well, that's good. Oh. Yeah, I saw something flicker, that's for sure. Oh. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Yeah, we popped the fuse. Yeah, we popped the fuse. Yeah. So there is something wrong with this power supply. Hmm. David says, "Can you check the transformer?" Well, I can. Well, it looks like I'm. Jack says, "Don't put ideas into impressionable young Justin's head." Jack says, "Thomas says check the rectifier." That would assume I know which part is the rectifier. All right. Oh, I got a component I forgot to. Oh, well, that's not going to have caused the problem we just had. But no, I forgot. There's I think a metal oxide varistor and one of the legs of the startup capacitor that's not soldered, but I doubt that would have caused the problem we just had. All right, let me desolder the main power so I can. Okay. I mean, all right. Well, then I'll check the. Well, that is the most awfulest looking solder joint in the world. All right. Okay. So my first guess partly because I ordered one, is the MOSFET. Oh, thank you, Dave. We have a $10 super chat from Dave for more fuses. Oh, I ordered like 10 or 20 of them. Oh, no, I ordered 50 of them. Probably because there was a fairly significant quantity discount. And they're a 2-amp fuse, so those are actually kind of handy. Dave says you can never have enough. Alright, so I'm going to remove the MOSFET. I think I already tested what I believe are the rectifying diodes. Those were the diodes that Garth noticed were loose. I think they're the rectifying diodes, and they seem to test fine. I had them desoldered so that I could check them. All right. So here's I believe this is a MOSFET. It's a BU508A. It's what we call a beefy MOSFET. Also is not going to fit into this component tester very well. It's not without some persuasion. And by persuasion, I mean I need to bend the legs so that I can actually get it into the correct. There we go. I think that'll work. All right. Oh, it is testing as a NPN transistor. Let me see. I think I ordered a spare. Jack says, why buy one when you can get 50 for 50 times the price? So there's the modern MOSFET, and notice how the original has a metal back and the new one has a plastic back. And there's probably really no real all right. I'm going to bend these pins so that I can put it in the component tester and compare all right. Well, it has a higher gain, but okay, I don't think the MOSFET is not convincing me that it's bad. All right, I'll put it back in later. All right, someone asked about the transformer. All right, I'm just trying to follow the traces here. So for 120 volts, all right. Ooh, okay. I would like to see if I can find a data sheet for this transformer so I can figure out how the windings are laid out. But I, I found a 0 ohm connection between two of the pins on the transformer, which doesn't seem like it. I mean, I guess they could be two pins that are connected together, but SCR1 is the that is in the overvoltage protection circuit, I believe. I think the rectifiers are these diodes here, these three big diodes. Actually, the diode bridge is here. These are the rectifying diodes right there, because right there's the diode bridge on the AC side. So this is on the low voltage side. Because there's the optocoupler. So I'm pretty sure these are rectifying diodes. This SCR is, I think, going to be on the overvoltage protection, which means there should be a Zener diode, which is probably that one right there, DZ1. All right, let me see if I can find a data sheet for this transformer, because I think it's the problem. Which means this power supply is not repairable. Unfortunately, there's... Yeah, I had them out, and I thought they tested good. David, if the transformer's bad, I can only replace it if I either find the same transformer or a data sheet to tell me what the windings are. Unfortunately, the data sheet has probably been lost to time. Capcom says, Transformers are like magic to me, I just don't get it. I guess I can remove the diodes again and check them again, but... I mean, I don't have any reason to believe that resistors on the AC side are not good. None of them look cooked. Helen says, I doubt the transformer is bad. Are you showing a short across the windings? You should have a resistance across the windings. Yes, I found a short between two of the pins of the transformer. But I don't know how the transformer is wired. So this is the low voltage side. and there's like a dead short there. All right, I hope you all realize that sometimes I don't like removing things because this is how I lose things. Ask me about the transistor that I have misplaced for the transistor for another power supply I've misplaced. And the thing is, I don't have schematics for this power supply, so all right. So there's the transformer, and I don't know what's connected to what because I don't have a data sheet for it. So so these two, I don't. These two pins seem to be shorted together, but I don't know. Maybe internally they're connected. I don't know. And those two appear to be. Oh no, that was just my probe touching. Okay, maybe those are internally connected to the same thing, but I don't know. So, all right, there's no connection there. I, Callan, I, I'm a software guy. I, I, and I am not a power supply expert. I only know how to play one on YouTube. And I think the secondary of the transformer is shorted because I have like zero, I mean, point 0.1 ohm there and point 0.1 ohm there. But I don't have any low resistances between any of these others on the secondary side. And looking at the way the traces go, I don't think those should be shorted. I think the transformer's shorted. I don't know. I'm thinking this is the problem right here. Because I'm reading shorts where I don't think I should be reading shorts. Just looking at the traces, it does not make sense that I should be reading shorts. Okay, so that's neutral. Those two pins shouldn't be shorted together on the transformer, because that would be... Yeah, there we go. I think I got proof. This transformer's bad. So this pin here on the transformer is connecting to the common. So these 4 pads here are common on the wiring harness. So I'm pretty sure that whatever this is, because these are 2 of the rectifying diodes right here, this and this should not be shorted together, and yet those 2 pins are shorted on the transformer. Jack says, wouldn't there have to be shorts though, since it's just loops of wire? No, I don't think it Callan says, yeah, but the transformer's out. I mean, these two pins on the transformer are a dead short. I mean, they're reading 0.1, like 0.1 ohms. Yeah. I thought you... That doesn't seem right, because this is the common right here, because I can see these are the common wires from the power connector. And if those two pins are shorted on the transformer, that is shorting a positive voltage to common. Because these are two of the rectifying diode legs right here. I can tell because they're big and chunky. So if those two pins are shorted on the transformer, I think that's our short. Thomas Armstrong says, are they the pins that go to the variator and cap? Uh, those two pins are here. Right there, these two pins here. They're going to these. This pin has two of the rectifying diodes connected to it. The second pin down does have a resistor here. Yeah. Yeah. This pin here is going to common. This pin here is going to the rectifying diodes. You can actually kind of see the two traces there on the board. Yeah, the short's on the DC side. What's on the DC side of the transformer? I'm kind of getting... The big blue package, they're marked as, these two big blue things are capacitors. This one, I think, is the Y class. No, wait, no, it's 250 volts. I can't read what they say. The blue things are capacitors. So that blue thing there is an X2 class capacitor. And this other one here is probably likewise another safety cap. Well, I don't see a class marking on it. No, as I was trying to. I'm not a power supply expert, but I think the rectifier. I don't think there's a. I think these are the rectifying diodes right here. I don't think there's a. About the only. Yeah. There's. Because there's this MOSFET here on the high voltage side. So that's going to be for switching the voltage going into the transformer or something. I mean, I feel like I'm out of my class here because I am not a power supply expert, and I was fairly sure recapping this was going to fix it, but I mean, it does look like that MOSFET is potentially. I mean, it looks like it's on the high voltage side of the transformer. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you what it's doing, but Thomas Armstrong says they should, but some resistance. So I am thinking that is confirmation that I should not have as the basically 0 ohms. Yeah, it was zero point 0.1 ohms is what my multimeter was reading. Oh, I think this would be the second thing I've failed to fix this week. Thomas Armstrong says, I'm not sure if it's the startup winding, it may be low. Well, I mean, I can tell you this. We're popping fuses. We should not be popping fuses. I am not measuring anything. Well, my multimeter is having trouble with these pins on the board side. Hi, Francois. All right, so what's the IC packages? All right. We have a diode bridge. We have a Sharp PC713V. I'm pretty sure that's an opto-isolator. Opto-isolator. We have a transistor of some sort, I believe. We have an SCR. We have another transistor. And we have a couple diodes. It's a diode bridge. Is that what you've been... 1.1 volts there. Nothing there. Let me probe it from the backside. So, all right. I got no voltage, nothing there. .1 volts there, drop. Nothing that way. Nothing that way. Nothing. There's 0.6 volts that way. .6 volts that way. Yeah, yeah, it looks like I'm getting a 0.6 voltage drop. I don't think it's shorted. No, I do not believe that is shorted. I believe it's fine. Yeah, I don't see any shorts on it. I don't know exactly what its pinout is, but I didn't find any combinations of pins that were shorted. Yeah, I think it's fine. Also, I do know the voltage selection jumper here is in the correct position. MOSFET tested fine. It tested as an NPN transistor. So it's not the MOSFET. Check the parts on the AC side. I mean, wait, yeah, but there. Look, I did this number on the AC side before I powered it up. Although I was in resistance mode. So I measured across the line and neutral, and It is, well, there's nothing now. Well, we just replaced the capacitors. The capacitors are not, we're, I don't think that I just installed bad capacitors. Is the safety, I don't know. You can't tell, I'm getting really flustered because, no, it's not shorted. It's reading like 3 mega ohms. Thomas Armstrong says caps would not pop if used that fast. Well, a shorted transformer would. Okay, well that resistor there is measuring 50 ohms, which I'm presuming is correct because well, that's not right. Okay. Let me remove R22 because I just got a weird reading off of it. I well, this component here, whatever it is measuring 5.9 ohms. Oh, actually, that would be correct. I don't know if I don't know. I mean, I can only check things so fast. I'm trying. And I don't know which one is the oscillator because I'm not a power supply expert and I don't have schematics. I also don't really want to lose the transistors because I've already lost one in the past week, and I'm kicking myself for losing it. Okay, so I just removed a resistor that it measured like 3 ohms. 3.3 ohms. Okay. That doesn't seem right. Alright, let's see if we can read the color code. So we have orange. Well, you know, is that orange, orange, gold, gold, purple? Purple, gold, gold, orange, orange? Thomas Armstrong says, looks like 3.3 ohms. Well, then why in the world did I order 3.3K ohm resistors? Oh, these must be for something else. Okay, so that was R22. Alright, let's check the transistor. Well, alright, so Q1, I don't know what part of the circuit it is. Okay, well, that one's probably fun. Well, I hope it is, because I certainly can't read the... Well, that's lovely. I don't think that transistor is marked. If I were to even want to double check what it is. I don't... Hold on. I'm trying. I'm trying to get there. I also want to put this transistor back in because it's not marked what it is, and if I lose it, then I would have no way of replacing it. So bear with me as I put this back in, because it appears to probably be okay. beginning to look like I'm going to probably just have to replace this power supply, but admit defeat and replace the power supply is kind of. Alright, I'm trying to figure out which. That doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, that's why. Okay, there we go. Well, no, my middle name is not defeat. But here's the problem. If the transformer's shorted, then I have no way of replacing it because there's no data sheet for it. All right. All right, let me try reseating it again. Well, I'm not sure what a 1431T is. All right, I guess we're going to have to look that up because. That is a. Oh, that's a voltage reference. Oh, okay. Well, that's a voltage reference. I can't. I'm not going to be able to test that. Okay, so that's a voltage reference. TL. Yeah, it's probably it's a 1431. It's a voltage reference. Yeah, this component tester can't test that part. No, it is not working. Um, T for Toshiba, maybe? Yeah, it looks like, it does look like one of the pins is connected to the opto isolator. I'm going to have to presume that part is good because no, it's an opto isolator. I know it because it's a Sharp PC713V. I'm pretty sure that's an opto isolator. I think this is a very basic switching power supply. Well, if I can get this part back in so I can solder it so I don't lose it. Yeah, I had to. So I've misplaced a transistor that I pulled off a board. I thought it was with the parts of the board, but apparently I dropped it, setting the board to the side, and well, wouldn't you know, it's a power supply for a computer that has a really oddly shaped power supply. And I don't remember what part number the transistor was because here's the ironic thing. I actually had the part in my Mauser cart, but the order, my order for Mauser was getting so large, and I didn't like the condition of the board, so I decided not to order any parts for that board at the moment. And I dropped the transistor because eventually I'm going to have to either fix it or hope I can find a power supply that'll fit the case because it's a really weird size AT. It's not a proprietary pinout. It's just a really weird size. Oh, you know, maybe I should go check my eBay messages and see if the seller has. Well, I don't have a. I can't use a bench supply because the Atari requires 5 and 12 volts, and I only have a 1 voltage output bench supply. So no, I can't use a bench supply. And I can't take the power supply from my 520ST because, well, it doesn't use the same power supply because that one had an external power supply. Guess we can check the. I look. It's we're knee deep in trying to fix a power supply. You're. All right. All right. I got the opto isolator out. And I have a funny way of testing these. So I think that's going to be the diode side. There we go. And then this should be the phototransistor side. There we go. That part's fun. Well, if I can get it back in the holes. There we go. It's back in. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and put this new MOSFET in. All right. it tested fine. I just want to at least get some of these parts. Oh, hi, Mega. Welcome. This MOSFET back in. So don't misplace it or confuse it with the one that I've dropped somewhere. There we go. All right. And then we'll go ahead and put this 3.3 ohm resistor back in as well, because I don't have anything on hand that I could replace it with. I mean, it is a bit worse for wear, but it is measuring 3.3 ohms, so okay. There we go. Okay. So actually soldered in? No, that's not soldered in. Oh, please. Well, I fix a. Well, that would explain why that didn't solder very well. All right. That's more like it. All right. I am almost tempted to do this. SCRs are very hard to test. I'll remove it and probably just go ahead and replace it with a new one. So the SCR is a BT151500R. All right. Which, oh, they're actually still made. There we go. All right. There we go. Just go ahead and replace the SCR. I'm going to stick the transformer back in. Oh, no, you don't test a SCR like a transistor. I always have to look up how you test it. But I just replaced it with a new one. So, I still think there's a. Yeah, I think this transformer is. Oh, I was going to replace the MOSFET, but the one I ordered is too tall. So, I think the transform. My best guess is the transformer is shorted. Or I didn't have that diode. I think the transformer is shorted because I'm reading a dead short somewhere where I don't think I should be, and it's on the transformer. I mean, I, I guess. I mean, I guess just in case I did fix something and didn't realize it. We'll we'll resolder the power here. resolder the wire. I'll put 2 screws in just to hold the board in place. I'll put a new fuse in. And if it pops the fuse again, then I think I'll conclude that the transformer must be shorted. Okay. New fuse. We'll zoom out. Okay, smart outlet is off. Power is all right. Plugged in. Going to go behind my little blast shield. All right. Smoke test. In 3, 2, 1. I turned it on and then I turned it off. Wait a minute. We didn't pop the fuse. Is there an LED on this board? No, there's not. Small fish, though. Okay, it could just be the lingering smell from where I've replaced caps. Alright, so let's do this. Well, that Wait, what are you all talking about? Ugh. It was arcing. Zoom in. Uh, back Q1. Right side of R22. Well, yeah, that does kind of Well, that's that 3.3 ohm resistor that it was sparking. Okay, well, and it made me spill my isopropyl alcohol. Okay, so that's a worse problem. We went from it blows the fuse to now we have a component that's sparking. Well, I still think the transformer might be shorted, so nothing has nothing has changed my mind to that. Okay, so I think on that disappointment, that's where we're going to have to end the stream because carbon track. I don't. Well, okay. If I don't I I don't have a good way of putting 5 volts on the ST without a proper power supply. I am like really because I it's not a simple matter of just hooking up the bench supply because I got the thing disassembled and it requires the monitor to test. I don't have I have a bench power supply, but it it's I don't have any good leads to try to drive power to a computer. That's the problem. I need some like the problem is not bench supply, it's clip leads. I it's we're at 10 till midnight and I'm getting tired, so I don't really want to try to hack something together to test the Atari ST as tired as I am because I'm liable to make a mistake. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm like not really wanting to drag it all out because I've been starting to get tired probably since 11 o'clock. I was really starting to get tired, and this power supply was aggravating me. I think really I guess the 1040ST is a yeah, this computer is just going to have to wait. So I think this power supply is done for. I haven't convinced myself I can fix it. At some point I have to say no more parts. I cannot sink infinite parts into this power supply. At some point I will just have to cut my losses and buy another power supply. I am well, it might not be a regret yet, but I am starting to regret the purchase. Because I've had the thing for 2 weeks and I haven't been able to test it. And the power supply shorted while it was in the computer, and I'm just really worried about it. But I I don't know that replacing that 3.3 I am not convinced that replacing that 3.3 ohm resistor is going to fix it. I don't know what power resistor it is. I'm still not convinced. I'm I guess I'm bumming myself out on this power supply because it's, I don't know, it's arcing and sparking and popping fuses, and the transformer coil. I don't know. I'm not a power supply expert. I just play one on YouTube. I'm not an electrical engineer. I do not get switch mode power supplies. This is not a how-to live stream, as you probably should have figured by now. So if I do fix it, then yay. But I'm like, I really would like the data sheet for this transformer, so I could actually confirm whether those points should be connected together or not. But unfortunately, transformers are parts that the data sheets just haven't survived. So, anyways, I know they're all common and interchangeable, but I don't have another Atari power supply. So that it's I don't I'd have to get another one. So I know I'm kind of bummed out. I thought a recap would fix this, but no, I'm not taking the power supply out of the mega file because it's I'm not I'm not stealing the mega file's power supply. I don't really want to steal the mega file's power supply. But I probably will end up anyways, because it. Well, I'm not going to test it tonight. In any case, because I'm just getting tired, and that's probably why I'm really pushing back, is my brain is tired. No, I'm going to take a break and go to bed because it's midnight. So, anyways, yeah, maybe another night we'll steal the power supply out of the mega file and test the Atari ST. I just don't want to destroy the mega file because it works. So, anyways, I I don't know. I'm just worried about this 1040ST. So, I, yeah, it was fun learning about this power supply, even though I still don't get how a switch mode power supply works. I know you turn it on and it supplies power, and sometimes you have to recap them. So, oh yeah, Thomas says I forget it's just 9 p.m. Yeah, well for me it's midnight, and so I'm beginning to get tired. And well, I mean, I tried powering it up with this power supply in it, and it's blowing fuses. I don't want to. I'm not replacing the power supply with USB because it's like, mm, I can't read the label on this power supply, but I'm pretty sure it says more than 1 amp, and it does need 12 volts because the 1040ST has a floppy drive built in, so I do need the 12 volts. I might only need 5 volts for testing, but I do need 12 volts. So, yeah, I still need the 12 volts, maybe not for initial testing. So, in any replacement is going to need 12 volts. long term. Short term, okay, fine. We can get by with 5 volts short term. But yeah, I'm getting tired. It's kind of one of my well, okay. So with this, I'm going to just put this to the side, and Thursday we're going to look at the Gateway Profile 3, because Joe bought me a screen. The screen is in. We're going to try to put that back together and recap it, and hopefully maybe I'll actually have a win, because yeah, this is the second thing I've tried to repair this week, and I'm 0 for 2 right now. The video card was the first thing I tried to repair, and it's dead. And so this power supply is being a challenge. So far I'm 0 for 2 for repairs for the week. So we're going to look at the gateway, and hopefully it'll be a little more successful of a repair. So anyways, with that, I'm getting tired. I'm starting to babble. I do have to work tomorrow. Unfortunately, I placed the order with Mauser yesterday because there were caps that I wanted to order. Because I started to try to build something this weekend and fairly quickly ran into I didn't order all the parts like I thought I did. So that's why I placed my Mauser order yesterday and not like tomorrow after working on this, because I needed parts that I forgot to order for that project. So yeah. Anyways, with that, I am quickly running out of steam, and I have to work tomorrow. So anyways, Thursday we're looking at the gateway, and then we'll come back to the Atari ST. I probably won't order parts this week, only because I've placed like 2 Mauser orders in the past 2 weeks, or actually probably in the past week. So I'm getting tired of paying individual shipping charges for orders. So I may wait a little bit on the Mauser order, because there's like 2 power supplies that I need to repair, and I'd like to order parts for them too in the next order. So yep, with that, I do have the MOSFET. I will make sure the replacement MOSFET, even though it's too tall, I will hold on to it in case we realize that there is something wrong with it, although it did test fine. And I'll make a note that I should probably get a new 3.3 ohm resistor, although I don't know what current rating I need, so I'll just order a 1,000,000 watt resistor, and that should work, right? Ha ha ha. All right, with that, I thank you all for joining me, hanging out, trying to keep me focused in the chat especially as my brain was getting tired and wanting some sleep. So anyways, I'm going to draw the stream to a close so I can go to bed and be rested for tomorrow. And then Thursday we'll look at the gateway, and then we'll see what I get to next week. With that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.